An estimated 5,000 EU citizens have left Europe for Middle Eastern conflict zones recently, mainly Syria and Iraq. Those who returned arrived with combat experience and jihadist zeal. Witness last year's attacks in Paris. Europe is responding to the heightened terrorist threat by tightening controls on its external borders. Romanian MEP Monica Macovei and Austrian MEP Ulrike Lunacek are steering the legislation through Parliament. Do new European Commission measures to have IDs checked against several data banks go far enough to halt radicalised fighters?
That's one reason for modifying these Schengen rules, to be able to identify them. Probably if you see a citizen of from an EU country going to Syria or again based on information, yes, you could stop. We have more databases. Europol, Frontex, plus the national databases. For instance, if someone uses a stolen ID or a fake ID and so on, or if there is information that someone comes in to the EU to put in danger the security of the citizens.
Some terrorists of the attacks of Paris and others have been or are EU citizens that had been traveling outside and then coming back in from Syria or elsewhere through EU external borders, and they passed through even though in some of the databases they had already been marked and there was already there should be a hit system on them, and then they could be checked further. So now the idea is to use all these three databases, the Interpol databases, the Schengen system, and also national databases. So this is something that has to deal with terrorists, with international crime. It doesn't have anything to do with refugees. That is also important to clarify.
Have they got the balance right between the need for security and freedom of movement?
Even if we have to do such checks of the ID, if it counterbalance the need for security. European citizens do not feel secure, they fear, and rightly so. So I think it's better to make sure that you know, everyone who goes in and out is checked, including me, including you, including anyone who is honest, in order to stop those who come to bring fear and terror and death in the European Union.
The problem I have with that as a Green is that it really will have every EU citizen being checked at the external borders. We could have too long waiting queues at the borders for EU citizens, and that is not something we want. And also as a Green, I say I don't want this system to be very intrusive. Yeah? And in a way it's something a bit backward. Yeah? Personally, I'm more in favor to keep more of the freedoms alive, because there is no 100% security. There never is in life.
Do these measures go hand in hand with other social measures to deal with radicalised citizens?
There will be more security checking, and you know, the border should have more people, should have more equipment, and so on, more computers to look into and to see in the Schengen information system, for instance, who I am and everything.
When you look into the reasons why many of these young men and some young women as well become radicalized, it has a lot more to do with a sense of not belonging, with a sense of having been traumatized on certain issues, with a sense of wanting to be somebody, with a lack of self-esteem. Yeah? And that then makes them radical. So there's a lot of psychology in it. I mean, some people who have extreme views, not necessarily, or radical views, not necessarily they become violent. Yeah? So this step has to be prevented, and that needs a lot more money, a lot more education of teachers, of social workers, of psychologists, etc., and also using them.